When it comes to fans of anime, there are different kinds. In this video, I will tell you how I personally classify fans of anime. Are you a real fan? Or are you a casual or a normie? Well, listen on and see where on my scale you fall. This video could be fairly lengthy, so buckle up. First of all, at the very bottom, we have the casuals. Casuals can barely even be called fans of anime. These people watch only the most popular anime in English, such as Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, Fairy Tail, Pokemon, Digimon, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, One Piece, and maybe others I am not remembering. These are the so-called gateway anime, and many people never progress beyond this stage. Hell, they may not even realize that these shows are of Japanese origin. These people are the casuals. At the next level, we have the normie fans. Normie fans are divided into two groups, the dub group and the subgroup. Both groups recognize that there are thousands upon thousands of anime out there, and they eagerly and willingly explore this art form. The ones that watch only English dubs are generally less knowledgeable about what is happening in the anime they watch than those who watch in Japanese with subtitles. Any number of cultural and linguistic references may go completely over their heads. True, they may hear certain words in passing, such as sensei, senpai, tsundere, and the like, but they never really learn anything beyond that. Watching anime via English dubs diminishes the experience. The second normie group watches in Japanese with English subtitles. These people are generally more knowledgeable about the Japanese language and culture. In the movie Your Name, a character talking to some other characters refers to himself using the words watashi, watakushi, boku, and ore. Ore. Have trouble with that sound. When they signaled to him that ore was the right descriptor, he continued with what he was saying. You see, in Japanese, those are 4 different ways to say I, and the appropriate usage can differ depending on gender, age, the situation at hand, and one's relationship to someone. There is no way to properly translate this into English. In school, Japanese students have a hierarchical relationship. Those in a higher class are referred to as senpai, and those in lower classes are called kohai. It is expected that kohais respect their senpais. Words such as kisama and teme are very rude ways of saying you. So when you hear these, you know the character is speaking to someone with contempt. Yamete means stop. So does yamero. Yamete is a softer form of the word and is most often used by women, whereas yamero is more forceful and more often used by men, or by someone speaking with great urgency. These are just 4 examples that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure I could think of more given time. It's little details like these that will greatly enhance one's experience watching anime, and you are unlikely to pick up on a lot of this stuff if you only watch English dubs. I myself still have much to learn. In fact, I am trying to learn to read and speak Japanese, partly for fun, and partly so I do not have to rely on Western localizers and have access to all of the stuff that is never translated. Well then, that takes care of the casual fans and the 2 subgroups of normie fans. You might be wondering what qualifies as a true fan in my book. Well, brace yourself. A true fan approaches anime without any preconceptions or bias. A true fan recognizes that Japan is a foreign culture, and because of this, they are okay with some things that we may not be. Let me give you some examples. I mentioned in a past video that I came across a hentai called Shoujo Ramune. The plot, as far as I can tell, is that this older man who runs a candy shop, has sexual relations with the young girls that go there. A normie fan would be horrified and say, "How could you watch that? You must be a pedophile." Pedophiles hurt real children. These are drawings. They cannot be harmed. Japan recognizes this, and that is why they allow content like this to be made. It is why their child exploitation law specifically exempts works of fiction. Another example, in a visual novel I have played, there is a point during one of the character routes where her mother tries to have her killed. In the main story, the main character goes and finds her mother. You get to make the choice regarding whether or not he kills her, and the ending differs as a result. There is a little side scenario, though, called the alternative approach. It is not part of the main story, but it is there should you choose to play it. In this scenario, the main character rapes her mother and has his accomplice record it. He then threatens to release the footage if she does not guarantee her daughter's safety. Yet another thing that would cause a lot of outrage if the general public were aware of it. In this same visual novel series, what is part of the main story is the main character having sex with his sister, and no, she's not adopted. Incest, another topic of outrage. I myself used to be a normie. It took time for me to change how I think about things. My first anime was Clannad. The story and characters blew me away. It was so well done and so wholesome. So when I found out there was a spin-off novel called Tomoyo After, which contained adult content, I was really angry. How dare they dirty this wonderful franchise with pornographic content? I came to realize something, though, over the years. The Japanese do not think of sex the way that we do. They recognize that it is a normal part of romantic relationships, and the decision to include adult content or not in a visual novel or anime can pretty much be called a stylistic choice and has no relevance whatsoever. Now, I am not saying that to be a true fan of anime, you need to enjoy lolly, rape, or incest content, or that if you come across a story that you love but think is ruined by gratuitous sex, you need to somehow force yourself to change, for example. I changed. It was a process for me, and I'm happy that I did because it makes things so much easier. But the key is not forcing yourself to like certain things. The key is acceptance. You need to accept that Japan is different. They have a different culture. They think differently about some things than we do. You need to recognize that it is not your place to point the finger at another culture and demand that they change in order to satisfy your values. How arrogant, how presumptuous. Imagine if a foreigner were to tell you that a part of your culture that you consider to be a non-issue offends them and demands that you change. Wouldn't be very cool of them now, would it? For my part, I do not specifically seek out lolly, rape, or incest content. In fact, the lolly content, depending on how extreme it is, makes me a little uncomfortable if I'm being 100% honest. If I encounter these things, though, they do not bother me. I simply accept they are there and move on with my life. All fans of anime should strive to adopt the mindset of indifference shown by the Japanese. All fans should try to avoid having their thinking influenced by their own morals and cultural values. Things will be much easier for you if you can reach that point. I guarantee it. Thanks for watching, and that's everything.